Okay, so welcome back to this Python tutorial series, guys. So if you watched the previous video, you now know what variables are and the different data types that can be stored in variables. And you also know about this cool thing called the print statement, which can be used to display values onto the console. So in this video, we're going to be going over how if statements and conditionals work, and all these topics are easy to understand, but they're crucial to creating some really good programs in Python. So I'm first just going to start with, we're going to do a little diagram here. Okay, so I'm not a very good artist or anything, but how about we say, well, these are going to be raindrops. For the sake, these are going to be really bad raindrops, but for the sake of this video, they're raindrops. So, it's raining. If it is raining, what would you usually do if it was raining? Well, if it's raining, then let's say you want your raincoat. And we'll just say, yeah, okay, if it's raining, raincoat, yep, can't type or write. Okay, if it's raining, then you'd wear your raincoat. And what if it's raining and it's cold outside, then you want to wear your boots. Okay, so hopefully this diagram helps to visualize it a little bit. Probably didn't, but anyway, now let's get into it and write some code. So conditional statements actually work exactly like that example I just illustrated. So let's start off with creating a number. We're going to assign this number in a variable called num1, and we're going to make it equal to 5. So now let's write a conditional statement with num1. Now, like the example I just did with the rain, what about if we want to see if num1 is less than 10? Well, we can do that by just saying if num1, and then using the less than symbol, is less than 10, and let's say we want to print less than 10. Okay, great. Let's run this. Prints less than 10. Cool. Now, let's say our calculations got messed up and our num1 is now 15. So let's run this code and see what happens. Okay, well, good thing it doesn't say that that number is less than 10, so that's good. But our code now says nothing. Let's say we want to add another statement, and what we can do is we can add a catch-all or an end-all, which would be else. So else is what if none of your other statements are true, that's what's going to be printed. So in this else statement, we can print more than 10. So we'll have that run. Okay, and it prints more than 10 because 15 is in fact more than 10. Now let's say we want to print if the number's 15. So we can add another conditional called that, which this stands for F with an elif. So what we can say now is, why don't we print if num1, let's say if it's equal to 15, we can print 15. And as you can see, it prints 15 because num1 is in fact equal to 15. Okay, so let's say we want two conditionals to be true. Now, how can we do that? We can do that by adding an and. So we can say if num1 is less than 10, and how about we say num1's less than 10 and num1 is greater than or equal to 5, print less than 10 and greater than 5. And why don't we change our num1 back to 5 and greater than or equal to 5. Okay. Less than 10 and greater than or equal to 5. Great, that's exactly what it is. Now, let's say why don't we just say less than 10 and greater than 6. Take that away, see what happens. We'll just change this. We'll change our else to print number, because more than 10 at this point isn't going to be accurate. Okay, it prints number because both of these conditions are not true for num1. Now let's say let's just say we still want something to print. So what we can do is we can change this and into an or if we only want one of these conditions to be true. So what we can do for that is we can just add an or right where we had that and then we can run this. Less than 10 and greater than 6, which again is not exactly true in this situation, but we changed it. Okay. Now let's say we just want to check if our num1 is not equal to 10. So the way we can say something is not equal to in Python is with an exclamation mark and an equal sign. Say 10, because we want to know if it's not equal to 10. So we can run this code, and we can change our print statement to not equal to 10. Make sure to close off that string. Okay, we can run this, not equal to 10. Great. So that's pretty much, we've covered some compound conditionals, we've covered less than, equal to, greater than, not equal to, and we've covered our if, our elif, and our else statements. Now, here's a challenge for you guys. Why don't we, how about this? Print if a number is less than 100, but that number is also greater than 75. And to get that number, have it so that the user can enter in a number. Okay, so we'll set our number. We'll call this user, and for this we want to get the user to input a number, which is something that I went over in my last video. So if you haven't seen that already, I recommend you check it out. Okay, so int, because we're gonna want to convert. Because if you don't remember, our input is a string, and we want to convert that string into an integer. So we'll say int input, and then we'll just say enter a number. Oh, and we need to close that off. So if the user enters a number that is, what did I say? I think greater than 75 and less than 100. Oh, and this is something that I should have gone over earlier. We can't just say and less than. We have to say our user again, less than 100, and we can just print greater than 75 and less than 100. I guess that wouldn't be too bad of a grade to get on a test. Enter a number. What number should we enter? I'll enter 80 to check if this works. Okay, cool. It prints greater than 75 and less than 100. So I guess what I could also add here is an else, and we can tab and we'll print less than 75. Less than 75 or greater than 100. And let's say I'm gonna add a space here just to make that, oh shoot, my cursor's off, just to make that look a little nicer. And we can, this time, let's say we'll enter 105. Less than 75 or greater than 100. Awesome. Okay, so now that this is about the end of this video, but after watching this, you now know all about conditional statements, less than or equal to operators, and an or. So thanks for watching, and I'll try to continue this series.